All right, today everything changes. With that change, YouTube's going to change. We're going to change the name of this boat as well, and I'll show you how I'm doing that here as we get around to the back of this boat, and you can kind of see. I'm going to use a heat gun. I'm going to use this rubber type eraser to pull the name off the boat. I've been able to get off part of it by peeling the blue off, but the gold keeps sticking on there, so I'm going to use this big eraser thing to get off that. We'll put the new name on there, and we're going to rename the channel as well, SVMeeko. If you want to check that out, subscribe to it, or you can just search for SVMeeko on YouTube. All right, so here's what we've got so far. We've got the name coming off from here, UNC, whatever. Anyways, so this little bugger's taking it off pretty well. Then I come back with the goof off and get rid of the glue that's left behind, but I'll let you kind of see what I'm doing here. So here, just to see, I'm using that rubber eraser on my drill bit, and it kind of goes over it. Pretty much just smears that sticker, and then I got to go back over it with that goof off to get it off. It's a pretty good way to get it removed, but it still takes a lot of work. Not super simple, but it's effective. All right, so that's about all it takes to get another 2 letters off. Still have a little bit of cleanup to do, but we've got 4 more letters to do, so I will get at that and be done with it. So after removing all of that, I went through and got my buffer out and got some polish and just started polishing the back of the boat just to make it look a little bit nicer before I put those stickers on there. All right, there we are. And it's about as good as I can get it there. You can still make out traces of the actually old 2 names that were on this boat. But now we're going to go ahead and put the new one on right there. Let's get. So I did go back over that one more time with acetone and clean the entire back portion of the boat there. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking the sticker and I'm lining it up and taping it in place. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to take my tape measure out and actually measure that to make sure it's right in line with where I want it. And then I pull half the sticker off one side, and I'm using a squeegee. I'm actually using my port supply card. So like a credit card or something, and then just going over it, making sure all the bubbles come out, doing one side at a time. Then I go pull the other side of the sticker off and go to the other direction. That way it stays straight as I'm moving forward. And that seemed to work pretty well. The scary part is when you got to pull it off now, and so then you got to peel that black portion off, and you got to make sure you're not pulling the other letters off because it sticks. Actually, it stuck really well, so I didn't have any issues with that at all. And here is what the final product looks like. All right, what do you think? New lettering. I think it looks good. All right, guys, so what we're working on now is getting this water pump off, and here is the water pump right here, and I'm not sure if you can tell. Let me get a light. So here's the old water pump. Ooh, that's bright. All right, here's the old water pump, and underneath it here you can see where there's salt collected all over the motor, and it has been leaking by this seal there. Anyways, we are gonna fix that by actually putting in a new one, and after putting in the new one, we are going to rebuild the old one so we have a spare. The new one is an updated version. Catalina Direct recommends, so we're gonna put that one on. First thing I had to do, take off the 2 fittings there. You can see one on the floor there, one on the floor there. That's top, that's bottom, and we're gonna put it on the new one. Let's get started with that. Alrighty, well, we've got the old the old water pump right here, and the new one right there on the motor, and it's a little prettier, a little nicer. Let's see if it leaks. And I did turn the water off, the raw water to the engine. I turned that valve off when I started and turned it back on just now, so we're all set to give that a try. Start the motor up and see if we get any water leak in there. All right, guys, a little bit of noise here, but we can tell you for sure no water leak. That's fixed. Fantastic. Another one bites the dust. Another one down. All right, now what? look at the list.
Well, I know what's on the list for next week. Next week, we need to ask, why do boats stink so much? So next week, we're going to take a look at cleaning up that boat so it doesn't have that boat smell like some boats do. And we're going to get that. We're also going to fix a stuffing box and make sure that's not leaking as well, so we can keep the water on the outside of the boat instead on the inside. All right, we'll see you next week. Hit that subscribe button and that bell icon if you want to be reminded of these videos. See you next week.